Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Bryce from BS Media, and today I'm back with another video, and this one's going to be on all of my DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K collection. I have a little over 1,000 different movies all together, and this is going to be a really long video, so I'm going to have chapters down below if you're like, okay, I'm tired of watching every single second of this. I'm going to have it all alphabetical, just so that way you can kind of flip through there if you get bored of one area, if you just want to skip to another one, if you want to come back to the video. And I do apologize for any kind of shaky video with this. I'm going to be using a small little tripod that's just kind of handheld. I need to still get a gimbal, so I do apologize for any kind of shaky video with this. But with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and get this started. I'm going to start off with the DVDs, and we will go from there. All right, guys, so we're going to start off on the far left shelf here. And I do have a few DVDs. I try not to have any DVDs. Every time I can actually get a Blu-ray, I do try to upgrade it. But I do have a handful here. And so we're going to start here. It's going to be A through Z for DVDs, and then it restarts A through Z for the rest of the Blu-rays and the 4Ks. That's mainly what I have. And so I have all my DVDs here, and then I also have all the numbers all the way up to Fs on this shelf. So starting off here, we have Above the Rim, Beverly Hills Ninja, Bicentennial Man, Contract Killer, Daddy Daycare, Dumb and Dumberer, When Harry Met Lloyd, which is the prequel, which a lot of people don't like. I thought it was okay. We have Friday After Next, The Glass House, The Good Boy, The Grudge 2, and Grudge 3, which you can technically get those, I believe it's either Region B or Region C Blu-rays. I've thought about getting some of those just so they'll be upgraded. I haven't quite decided yet. I'm still kind of looking into them, but they might be worth the upgrade. And then we have The Hot Chick, Joanna Man, Like Mike 1 and 2, Malibu's Most Wanted, The Master of Disguise, More Than a Game, Open Range, Panic Room, Quarantine 2, The Terminal, Racing Stripes, and then Radio, honestly, is probably the DVD that I really want to upgrade the most. This is just absolutely a great movie. I think a lot of people have kind of forgotten about it. It's inspired by a true story by Cuba Gooding Jr. And, well, not actually about Cuba Gooding Jr., but it's just inspired by his story of, or the story that he portrays of a special needs kid who gets bullied by a school. But he just absolutely loves football, and the coach takes him in, and he ends up becoming, I believe it was like the football manager or something like that. And it's just a really great story. And I've never had a movie actually made me cry, but that got pretty darn close. That's probably the closest I've ever cried, just when it comes to any kind of drama or any kind of movie. So I was absolutely moved by this story, and I think it absolutely deserves a Blu-ray or a 4K for sure. So put that one back in there. Next up, we have Rebound, Save the Last Dance. I had never seen this until my wife showed it to me. It's one of her favorite movies of all time. We have Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invaders and Scooby-Doo Zombie Island Double Pack. And we have Stay Alive, which is another one I really, really want on Blu-ray. A lot of people don't like that one for whatever reason. I think maybe a lot of people think it's cheesy. I think it's a great one. We have Family Guy presents Stewie Griffin, The Untold Story, True Lies with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jamie Lee Curtis, When a Stranger Calls, and then White Chicks. So now we're going to move on to the Blu-rays themselves. So we have 3 Days to Kill, 3:10 to Yuma, The Sixth Day, 12 Rounds, 21, 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street, 30 Days of Night, 30 Minutes or Less, 42 The Jackie Robinson Story, great movie, R.I.P. to Chadwick Boseman, 50 First Dates, both of the 300 movies, 300 and then 300 Rise of Empire. And then we have 1408 and The Mist Double Pack, both great movies as well. The Mist is actually getting a 4K release. I believe it's in, I want to say it's October or it might be September. It could be wrong. We have 1917, 2012, Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter. That was such a wild story. I really like that one, though. We have The Accountant with Ben Affleck. We have Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, and Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls, Double Pack Blu-ray. We have Tyler Perry's Acrimony. That was a wild movie. That was a great one, too. Will Smith's After Earth. The Age of Adeline. And then we have Agent Cody Banks, Agent Cody Banks 2, Destination of London. We have Air Force One, Aladdin, and then we have the Alien Anthology. This is another one of my favorite series of all time. Whenever I first watched this, we got some Blu-rays falling. Whenever I first watched this, I was super scared that somehow I had an alien inside me. I was like a kid when I first watched it. I felt like my chest hurt. But it's an absolutely great series, and I don't think all of these are still on 4K for whatever reason. It's one of those iconic series that somehow does not have all 4K releases, and people are absolutely missing out if they have not watched these. Now, I will say, like Alien Resurrections, that wasn't that great. But definitely the first two, Alien 3 was a little too, just because of how they started it off and how it ended and everything like that. But it's still some great movies, that's absolutely for sure. These are some classics. All right, moving on. These are the B's, so it's got put in the wrong spot, but we have Alien Covenant, Alien versus Predator double pack. So it's got Alien versus Predator 1 and Alien versus Predator Requiem. And then we have All Eyes on Me, the Tupac movie, Amadeus, The Amazing Spider-Man, and The Amazing Spider-Man 2. We have Ambulance, American Gangster, and then American History X, and A History of Violence. And some of these are missing spots because I've actually been kind of going through my collection and just kind of clearing some movies out that I don't ever watch. And so I just thought I'd kind of mix it up and, throw in some new ones and get some different ones and get rid of the ones I don't really care about that much. Next up, we have American Sniper, absolute classic. And then we have the Amityville Horror, Amityville 2, The Possession, and the Amityville 3D. This is the Scream Factory triple feature set. I feel like I think I had to spend about 60 or 70 on this collection. It's not cheap by far. We have the Anchorman. This is the Rich Mahogany edition. That comes with like trading cards and I think some little booklet that's supposed to be Ron Burgundy's like notes. They went over the top. I think it even originally came with a t-shirt too. We have Anchorman 2, The Legend Continues. We have Anger Management. And then we have all three of the Annabelles. Annabelle Comes Home, Annabelle Creation. We have Ant-Man and the Wasp. And then I have a section here. I still haven't bought it. Ant-Man and the, was it the something Quantumanium or whatever it's called. I still need to put that one in there. We have Ants, Apocalypto, which I think is highly underrated. That's a great movie. Apollo 13, Aquaman, Are We Done Yet? Are We There Yet? Armored, Army of Darkness, Assassins, Assault on Precinct 13, The A-Team, which I haven't seen that in a long time, but this has a great cast, a lot of action. I do remember that much. We have the original Avatar. I'm still missing the second one. I'll probably pick it up when it probably goes on sale or something like that. I wasn't a huge fan of it, just because I felt like the story just felt really recycled and wasn't that interesting. Second time I watched about half of it second time on Amazon Prime Video. And I actually liked it a little bit better, I think, the second time around when I was watching it. So I'll definitely pick it up at some point. Then we have the first Avengers, Avengers Age of Ultron, Avengers Infinity War, and then Avengers Endgame. Baby Driver, Back to the Future set, which is absolutely a great one as well. Bad Boys 1 and 2 on 4K. Bad Boys for Life, which I think there's a fourth one that's supposed to be coming out now. Bad Grandpa, Bad Santa, Batman the Movie, The Dark Knight Trilogy, Batman vs. Superman, which this got a lot of hate, honestly, but I really enjoyed it at the theaters. I had a blast with it. I mean, it was a little long. I remember it dragged out a little bit in certain areas, but I honestly thought this was a good one. And I remember the reviews weren't the greatest. I remember coming out there and I was like, whoa, I just watched something epic. That's how I felt when I watched this one. So like I said, I know I got a lot of hate, but I honestly really liked it. Next up, we have Battle Los Angeles and the Lockout double pack. We have Beethoven, Beetlejuice, The Belko Experiment. We have The Benchwarmers, Beyond the Lights, Big. Then we have Mr. Deeds and Big Daddy, the double pack as well. We have the Big Mama's 3 film collection, which, man, I can't tell you how much I love those movies. Those movies crack me up every time I watch them. It doesn't matter how many times I've seen them now. If especially the first one. The first one is definitely the best, but all of them just crack me up. They're so funny. We have Big Trouble in Little China. We have Bill and Ted's Most Excellent Double Feature, which I don't have the third one. I watched that in theaters, and I honestly didn't really care for it too much. So I don't know if I'll ever pick it up. Maybe eventually I'll rewatch it and, judge it from there. But as of now, probably not. We have Billy Madison, absolute classic as well. Black Hawk Down. Then we have The Black Knight. This one always cracks me up too. The Black Knight with Martin Lawrence, where I can't remember the full story now. It's been a while since I've watched it, but I know he's working at some medieval place, something like that. He gets knocked out and he wakes up, and it's actually medieval century or something like that, and he has to actually become a knight, and he's walking around like in a jersey and all this stuff, and he feels all super out of place. It's pretty funny. It's definitely a good one. Martin Lawrence always has some good movies. We have Black Mass up next. We have Black or White. We have Black Panther and Black Panther Wakanda Forever. We have Black Phone, Black Widow, which that was definitely a disappointment as far as the MCU is involved. And we have Blade, Blade 2, and Blade 3. Blade is one of the most iconic MCU movies. I feel like it's still severely underrated. If it wasn't for that, I don't think there would be the MCU today by far. And then we have a 4 films favorite with Will Ferrell. I believe it's like Blaze of Glory, Semi-Pro, Old School, and The Campaign. Those are some pretty good ones as well. Put that back in there. We have The Blind Side, which with all the stories going on with that, that's just crazy. Who knows how much of that is actually real anymore. And then we have these two. These are the ones that fell down. We have Bloodsport with Time Cop Double Pack, Blue Streak. We have Boo and Medea's Halloween, Boo and Medea Halloween 2. We have Boogeyman as well, Boondocks 1 and 2. We have the Bourne Classified Collection that does have all the Jason Bourne movies. Besides the newest one, I have that in another spot. We have The Boy, we have Braveheart, and we have the Universal Classic Monsters Collection, which is going to knock some other ones down, I'm sure. But this one has Bride of Frankenstein, the original Frankenstein, Wolfman, Invisible Man, The Mummy, Dracula. I grew up watching these with my grandparents, and they used to scare the crap out of me, and I think they're just still some iconic films that absolutely look beautiful, especially in Blu-ray. And I know they have them all in 4K now. This is just a Blu-ray pack. I don't have them in 4K, but I can't imagine how beautiful those movies look as well. And it's just always fun to go back and watch these. Like, they just never get old. I remember they're just kind of like short, sweet, straight to the point, and they were still pretty creepy as a kid, but they still scared me in the dark. So I'll never be able to give those away or give those up, and I'll always enjoy having those in the collection. Next up, we have Brightburn, we have Bruce Almighty, Bulletproof, Bullet to the Head, Bumblebee, Butterfly Effect, which was also a great one with Ashton Kutcher. That's a crazy movie. We have Caddyshack, The Call, the original Candyman, and this is the new Candyman. And I was honestly really surprised when I saw all the bad reviews for this one, because I felt like after I watched this, I was like, wow, I feel like they really did a good job with the story. They still made it really creepy. I know it might just be a movie, but there's no way I want to be seeing Candyman in front of the mirror that many times. Like, I was like, nah, I'm good. It's definitely a good one. I think it's also underrated as well. We have Captain America: The First Avenger, Captain America and the Winter Soldier, Captain America: Civil War, all great ones as well. Captain Marvel, Captain Phillips, Captain Underpants. This is the new Carrie. I used to have the original, and I think it was like in a DVD pack or something like that, and I got rid of it. I'll have to re-add that one in here for sure. We have Cars, Casper, Castaway. We have Cellular, Central Intelligence, Chain Reaction, Chappie, which that's also a good one too. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, The Chernobyl Diaries, the entire Chucky collection. I think the only thing is missing is it doesn't have the remake. That's the only thing that's missing with that one. We have Children of the Corn and Hellraiser double pack. And then we have Christine. I have this one on the Steelbook. I believe this was the Best Buy edition. This is always a good one to watch too. I think it's just it's a really cool idea, I think. and it's pretty cool just to see that car look that beautiful and been restored from being completely trash, and it's a possessed car, and how it changes the driver as well. I think it's definitely an original story, and nothing really like it, I don't think, since then. I'm sure there's been some other things that's tried to recreate it, but it doesn't quite capture the same magic by far. We have A Christmas Story, Click, Cliffhanger, Coach Carter, The Cobbler, Collateral Damage, and Eraser, the double pack. And we have The Collection, The Collector. Those are both pretty good too. Those kind of remind me of like, I kind of say Saw-like, just in the atmosphere with those. We have Coming to America, The Executive Decision, Commando, The Commuter. We have Con Air. We have the Conan double pack. So it has Conan the Barbarian and Conan the Destroyer. We have Condemned, Confessions of a Shopaholic, 7, Copycat, and Taking Lives triple pack. And they have the Conjuring triple pack, which is going to have 1, 2, and 3. And we have The Creature from the Black Lagoon, because for some reason that was not in the classic Monsters collection, which it should have been. We have The Crazies. We have Creed 1 and 2. Have The Crow, A Cure for Wellness, The Da Vinci Code, Daddy Day Camp, Daddy's Home 2, which those are pretty funny movies as well. We have Dark Blue, The Darkest Hour, Darkness Falls, which that's also a really underrated horror movie, I think, as well. We have The Dark Tower, Dark Skies, Planet of the Apes, that's the double pack. The War is not a part of that one. I have that one in the W's down below. We have The Day After Tomorrow. We have Daybreakers, and then Dead Silence, which I did an unboxing on this one. Scream Factory just released this on 4K. This is probably one of the best horror movies I think I've ever seen. Just the premise and the story of this is just honestly super creepy and different, where a ventriloquist basically haunts a town and her ghost is still around and basically wipes out a whole family. Like, it's just an absolutely great movie. If you guys have never seen this, definitely pick it up and watch it. This is a must own, I think. Well, at least personally, that's what I think. So let's see if I can get this back in here. All right, next up we have Deadpool, Deadpool 2, Dear John, Death at a Funeral, Death Race, the remake Death Wish with Bruce Willis, the original Death Wish, and then Death Wish triple pack. So it's got it's got Death Wish 2, 3, and 4. So the only one I don't have is 5, which I think that's actually coming out from Kino Lorber, I think at the end of August. I don't remember correctly. I have to take a look. And then on this side, we have Deep Blue Sea, Long Kiss Goodnight, and Snakes on a Plane triple feature. We have Deepwater Horizon, Deja Vu, Demolition Man, Den of Thieves, The Descent, Detroit, Devil, The Devil Wears Prada, Diary of a Mad Black Woman. That's going to be one of those Baddia movies. We have the Die Hard collection, Dirty Dancing, Dirty Grandpa, District 9, and then Disturbia, which Disturbia is also one of those really good, I would say like a mystery thriller type movie with Shia LaBeouf, if that's how you say his name correctly. That's just one of those movies I think you just never get tired of. I think it just has a really interesting story about a kid who's on house arrest, and he's convinced that his neighbor is a serial killer. And it's a really good story, and I think it definitely gets you on your edge of your seat for sure too. So I think that's a must watch as well. We have Django Unchained, which I would also say that's a must watch. That's a really good one too. Do You Believe? Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, Dodgeball, Don't Breathe, Doom. I think that's the Best Buy Steelbook, I think, on that one. We have Dracula 2000 and Dracula 2 Ascension. And then we have Dracula Untold, which I feel like this is one of those movies that people seem to kind of hate on whenever it was in theaters. But I think that was a really good story that they came out with. I mean, it's only PG-13. I think any Dracula movie really should probably be rated R, but I think it still did a great job for what it was, and I honestly really enjoyed it. Definitely a good one. After that, we have Draft Day, Drag Me to Hell, Dream House, Duel, Dumb and Dumber, and The Mask double pack, Dumb and Number 2, and we have Dunkirk, steelbook on that one. We have E.T., Easy A, Live, Die, Repeat, / Edge of Tomorrow. That's a good one with Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt. We have Elf, and then we have a 2-pack. Yeah, that's The Emperor's New Groove and Kronk's New Groove. Those are pretty good too. We have Employee of the Month, which I think I found this for I want to say it was $5. I don't remember if it was at Best Buy or Walmart, something like that. And I was like, what the heck is this movie? And I picked it up, and I just thought it was so funny where Dane Cook, he's just a regular guy working at a supermarket. And this guy down here, Dax Shepard, he's like the employee of the month every year. Not every year, but every month. And then Jessica Simpson starts working there, and there's a rumor that goes around that she only dates the employee of the month for whatever place she works at. And so he starts really working hard and trying to get his act together so he can try to date her. And it's pretty funny. It's definitely a different story. And I thought it was a lot of fun because I worked at Walmart at the time, so I thought it was pretty awesome. All right. Up next, we have End of Days. We have End of Watch, Enter the Dragon, Equalizer 1 and 2, and Equalizer 3 is actually about to come out pretty soon, so I'm looking forward to that one. We have Escape from New York, The Escape Plan, Eternals. We have Evil Dead. That's the remake, or I don't know if they call that one a prequel or something. I don't remember. We have the original Evil Dead, and Evil Dead 2 double pack. The Expendables 1 through 3 on 4K, which you can pick that up for ultra cheap. We have Friday Night Lights and the Express double pack. And the Eye will always be something special to me because this, I believe, was the very first Blu-ray I ever picked up. And I thought the story was pretty interesting on this too, that she's blind. She gets an eye transplant, and then she starts seeing all these different, I think it was ghosts. I haven't seen it in so long. But I thought it was a really interesting story, and it'll always be something special to me because, like I said, I think this was the very first Blu-ray I ever picked up for my collection. So never forget about that one. Next up, we have Face Off. That is the steelbook on that one. Failure to Launch with Matthew McConaughey. Family Guy, The Blue Harvest. Family Guy, Something Something Dark Side. We have The Fan. And we have Fantastic Four, which a lot of people, I think, sleep on this one too. I know they're supposed to be coming out with a new Fantastic Four at some point, but I honestly love this one. I think I watched it in theaters with my dad when this first came out, and I just thought they did a great job with this. Maybe it's just because I watched it when I was a kid, but it'll always be something that I'll always enjoy watching. And I know they can never bring all of them back, even for a MCU appearance, just because they have Chris Evans here as Johnny Blaze, and obviously he turned into Captain America. So they can't bring all of them back, but I always thought these were really good, and this way better than the 2017, 2018 with Michael B. Jordan. That was absolutely trash. At least those are actually pretty good. And so then we have Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer. We have Fast and Furious 1 through 7. We have The Fate of the Furious. We have Fast 9, or F9, the Fast Saga. I don't have Fast X yet. I haven't seen that one yet, so I need to add that one as well. Then we have Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. We have Fearless and the Unleashed double pack. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. The Fifth Element on 4K. And we have the triple pack with The Fighter, Shooter, and Four Brothers. All great movies as well. We have the Final Destination collection. We have Finding Nemo, Firewall. And then down here we have The First Purge, have Flight, and then Flight of the Phoenix. I've always enjoyed this one, not just because of the story necessarily, but I'm a big person that's always into home theater and subwoofers, stuff like that. If you've seen some of my other videos, you'll know that I'm all about that. And this has one of the greatest scenes, I think, for showing off your subwoofers. And so I always love popping this disc. If someone's like, hey, can I listen to your sound or your surround sound? I want to see what it sounds like. I want to listen to these subwoofers. And so I'll pop this one in there. And I think it has a pretty good scene whenever the plane is going upside down before they crash. So definitely a good one for a pickup if you're trying to show off your system. And then we have next up, we have Flight Plan, The Fly, the original, and then we have The Fly, the remake. I think that was either 80s or 90s. Both of them are pretty good. We have Focus with Will Smith, the original Fog. I used to have the actual remake Fog, and I just tossed that one because I was like, I'm never going to watch that one again. It was so bad. We have Forrest Gump. We have The Fourth Kind, which I think The Fourth Kind was also one of the very first Blu-rays I ever picked up. I'm honestly not a huge fan of that movie, but I kind of want to rewatch it again because it is based on a true story. So I might have to check it out again. And then we have Fox and the Hound and Fox and the Hound 2 double pack. We have Frequency, and then we have Friday, Menace to Society, and Set It Off triple pack. We have Fright Night. This is the remake as well. And then we have The Messengers and Freedom Land double pack, From Paris with Love, and then Frozen 2. So let's move on to the next shelf. All right, so on this side, we're going to continue the G's, or I should say in the F's and start with the G's. So we have Full Metal Jacket, G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra, G.I. Joe, Retaliation, The Gallows, The Game Plan with Dwayne The Rock Johnson. We have Get Hard with Kevin Hart and Will Ferrell, and that's an absolute classic. We have Get Out, and I have the Ghostbusters trilogy. Those got Ghostbusters Afterlife, and then the original 2 as well. I think that's a really good set. We have Ghost Rider and Hellboy double pack, Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance, and then I have the triple pack of House of Wax, Return to House on Haunted Hill, and Ghost Ship. And then we have Gladiator and Troy, Glass, and then we have Glory. That's with Matthew Broderick, where it's the Civil War, I believe. And then we have Glory Road, God's Not Dead, the remake Godzilla, so that's like the modern version of an M, Godzilla King of Monsters. I don't have Kong versus Godzilla or Godzilla versus Kong. I need to get that one. That's what I'm missing. We have Gone Girl, Ben Affleck, A Good Day to Die Hard with Bruce Willis, The Goonies, Gran Torino. I honestly think that's such a great movie with Clint Eastwood. That's such a good one. It always cracks me up every time I watch it. We have Green Book, Green Lantern, Ryan Reynolds, which he always says he hates that one, but I honestly thought it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I mean, the suit could have been better since it's CGI, but it wasn't bad. We have the triple pack of Jarhead, The Kingdom, and Green Zone. So those are all going to be some military movies. I have the double pack of The Gremlins and Gremlins 2, The New Batch. We have Gridiron Gang, Gridlocked with Tupac. We have Groundhog Day, Grown Ups 1 and 2, which I feel like those get a lot of hate too, and I've always been a big fan of Adam Sandler, so I was like, man, I absolutely love these movies. I thought they were fun. We have The Grudge. We have Grudge Match, so that was Robert De Niro and Sylvester Stallone, where they do a boxing match, I think. I haven't seen it, I think, since I probably bought it. I need to rewatch it again. We have the Guardians of the Galaxy and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I have not seen Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I need to add, I know for sure I'll add that one to the collection because I collect all the MCU movies, but I still haven't watched it yet, so I'm really looking forward to watch that one. I have The Gunman with Sean Penn, Hacksaw Ridge, and then I have all of the Halloween. So I got the Halloween Scream Factory set. This is the complete collection before the new ones that came out. And Halloween, honestly, is the best horror franchise easily of all time, I think. I love Michael Myers and the premise and the story. The boogeyman, the shape, whatever you want to call him. He's just an iconic character in movies. And I think they honestly did a really good job with the new ones that came out as well. Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. Except Halloween Ends, I mean, it was definitely different. I could see what they were trying to do with it, but they shouldn't have done it with that one. I feel like they just took a step backward after Halloween Kills because he's like unstoppable. He can't be killed, everything like that. Then Halloween Ends, he's like a weak old man. I was like, okay, what is going on here? Like, that just seemed to ruin it. But easily the first, I'd say at least the first two, I think, can never be topped. Halloween 3, I think, also was good. Of course, that isn't with Michael Myers. Don't get me started on the Rob Zombie double pack that he came out with. Those are absolutely terrible. Those are the worst ones ever made. So I know some people like them out there, but I think those are honestly the worst Halloweens ever made. But beside those two, I'd say the rest of them are pretty good. Now, I know like the Carissa Michael Myers and Halloween Resurrection, those are pretty low on the board too, but they're not nearly as bad as Rob Zombie's. So I honestly think that's easily the best horror franchise out there, though. We have Hancock up next, and we have Hannibal and the Silence of the Lambs double pack, the Hannibal Rising, Hansel and Gretel, which I think that was pretty good. Hansel and Gretel, the Witch Hunters. We have Happy Death Day. Don't have the second one. Didn't really like that one as much. Maybe I'll pick it up if it's ever on sale, though. Happy Gilmore, iconic comedy. Love that one. Every time I watch it, I crack up. I probably watch it like 25 to 50 times, probably. We have the Harry Potter complete 8-film collection on Blu-ray. We have Hard Boiled. And we have Haunted Mansion. This is the original one with Eddie Murphy, not the new one. Haven't seen the new one. But yeah, this is the other one with Eddie Murphy. Watched that one in theaters when I was a kid. And then The Haunting in Connecticut. This one was pretty creepy. The ending kind of took away, I think, from the creepiness just because they kind of explained it and it kind of made it more like human-like, more than spiritual and everything like that. But this was a great story, I think, too. And if you haven't watched that one, I would definitely try to watch it. Either try to stream it or try to pick it up for cheap if you've never seen it before. Yeah, I think you'll like the story. I think it's definitely different. It is pretty creepy. Definitely one of those movies you want to watch with the lights out and get you some popcorn. You might throw your popcorn and jump a couple times, maybe. I don't know, but it's definitely a good one. I think it's definitely a watch if you are a horror fan. All right, up next we have Heat, the Michael Mann movie. We have Hellbound, Hellraiser 2, Hellboy 2, The Golden Army, Hercules with The Rock, Here Comes the Boom, The Hills Have Eyes 1 and 2, Hitch, The Hitcher, and then Hitman Agent 47. And with that being said, we're going to move on to the right. All right, so we are now on the right-hand shelf. We're going to be finishing up the H's and go all the way up to the S. So starting here, we have Hitman's Bodyguard, Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey, Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug, and then Hobbit, Battle of the Five Armies, which you can't see. And then I have Hollow Man pulled out. And I have this one pulled out because not only do I like this movie, but it's also, I think, the most expensive single movie I do have in my collection. I think I had to pay about $60 to $70 because this is one of those out-of-print movies. I don't know why it got so crazy expensive. I mean, I'm sure there's other out-of-print movies out there that are not nearly expensive. This one is just up there. I do like the movie. I thought it was really good, and it was one of those DVDs that didn't have a Blu-ray of. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to bite the bullet. I'm going to pay for the, pay the $60, $70 to get it. So it's in the collection now. Next up, we have Home, Home Alone, Home Alone 2. We have Hoosiers, Horrible Bosses 1 and 2 here. And then I have Hostage and Setup, the double pack. We have House of Wax 3D. This is the original, I think it's 1953 or 1957 with Vincent Price. He's one of my favorite actors as well. I would say he's probably like the king of horror easily. He was in so many horror movies. Absolutely iconic. Next up, we have How High, Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. This is the one with Jim Carrey. And we also have How the Grinch Stole Christmas. This is the animated version from, I forgot what year it was, 1970s, 80s? Could be older than that, I'm not sure. Then we have the Hunger Games quadrilogy. Yeah, there's 4 of them, I believe. There is the Hurricane Season, I Am Legend, I Am Number 4, I Can Only Imagine, I Know What You Did Last Summer 4K. I did recently pick this one up. That's a good one. I, Robot 3D, The Illusionist, In Time, Inception, The Incredible Hulk, The Incredibles 1 and 2, Independence Day, Indian in the Cupboard, Indiana Jones, the Complete Adventures. Of course, it does not have the newest one just because it came out on disc as of the release of this video. Hopefully it'll be coming out pretty soon. I haven't actually seen it, so I'll be definitely adding that one to the collection because I absolutely love this series. I know the Dial of Destiny, the newest one, didn't get the greatest reviews, but I already know I'm going to love it just because I love all the other ones. Even the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, I didn't think that was that bad. Next up, we have Inglourious Bastards. And then I have the Insidious pulled out here just because I think this is an absolutely great series. I haven't seen the newest one. I'll probably be getting that one and doing an unboxing for you guys on that one and adding it to the collection. But I just love this story, especially I think it was Insidious Chapter 2 really creeped me out. And I mean, I wouldn't say it's really that scary, but it just has a really good story. I love the lore about it going into the further. I just think it's really interesting, and I think they've done a great job. I would say probably the first two are easily the best ones. Chapter 3 and The Last Key are eh. And then haven't heard the greatest things about The Red Door, the newest one, but I'm definitely going to have to complete the collection. And I think it's a really good set, so I really enjoyed it. So again, those are all the Insidious movies. Have The Internship, Invisible Man. That's the newest version. I think that was the 2019. That was on 4K. And I do have all of the Iron Mans. And I'd have to say Iron Man is easily my favorite MCU character. I remember watching this in theaters whenever it first came out. I think I watched it with my dad whenever I actually worked in the movies at the time. Absolutely love the story. I can watch that. I don't care how many times I watch it. I absolutely love it. And it's really sad that he's not a part of the MCU anymore, but I knew his time had to come at some point just to make way for some other characters, but he'll always be my favorite by far. So I got Iron Man 1, 2, and 3. We have The Island, It. This is the new version. I don't have It Chapter 2 just because I didn't like that one. Probably won't ever get it. It Comes at Night, It's a Wonderful Life, The Italian Job, Jack and Jill, Jack Reacher 1 and 2. So the first one's on Blu-ray, the second one's on 4K. Have Jason Bourne to go ahead and finish out the Bourne collection. Jeepers Creepers 1 and 2 do not have the third one or Reborn. I did watch the third one, and I didn't really care for it a whole lot. I've heard absolutely terrible things about Reborn, so I definitely will not add that at any point as well. I have a Jigsaw on 4K, which I'll get more into the Saw collection later on, but that's absolutely one of my favorite series as well. Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger. John Carter, which I think is absolutely underrated as far as a Disney movie. It's a really good story. And then we have a triple pack Blu-ray with Training Day, John Q and the Pelican Brief, Jonah Hex, Juice with Tupac, the original Jumanji with Robin Williams, Jumper, Junior with Arnold Schwarzenegger, where he becomes pregnant. I think that's so weird, but it's pretty funny. It's different. We have Jupiter Ascending, the Jurassic Park collection. Then we have Jurassic World, the Fallen Kingdom. So this does include the first Jurassic World and the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Do not have Dominion. Do need to add that one to the collection. Just Mercy, Just Right, Justice League. This is not the Snyder Cut. I've never seen the Snyder Cut. I probably will add that to the collection just because of all the great things I've heard about it. My friend Daniel was like, dude, you need to watch it. It's 4 hours, but you need to watch it. So I was like, okay, we'll watch it sometime soon. Then we have the first and second Karate Kid. This in a double pack collection. And then Karate Kid 3, and then the next Karate Kid. And then the remake Karate Kid with Jackie Chan and Jaden Smith, I believe. And then we have, I put this in the wrong spot, but I need to switch it out. I have Kick-Ass 1 and 2. Kick-Ass is over here. Then we have Kickboxer, Kicking and Screaming. And then Kindergarten Cop. Arnold Schwarzenegger is easily my favorite actor. And so anything with him in it, I think is just great. I will say there's some movies I don't care for. I'm not going to lie. But Kindergarten Cop, I think it's just one of those great movies that you can always go back and watch. It's got comedy, a little bit of action. It's just different because it was different, I think, from a lot of the other movies that he was a part of at the time, just being a kindergarten teacher, undercover cop. I thought it was very interesting. And it's an iconic movie. I think you can always go back and watch it. It never gets old. We have Peter Jackson's King Kong, Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2, Kingdom of Heaven, The Kingsman, The Secret Service, that's the first one, Kingsman: The Golden Circle, Kiss the Girls, Knives Out, Kong Skull Island. And moving on to the L's, we have Land of the Dead, Lovecraft's Tomb Raider, Last Action Hero, The Last Samurai, The Last Song, The Last Stand, again with Arnold, it's a good one, The Last Witch Hunter, Legion, Leprechaun, the 7-film collection, which I think there's another one out there now. The other, besides like the first 2 or 3, they're really not that good, but it's a steel book and it's kind of cool to keep, so I'll keep it around. And then we have all of the Lethal Weapons. That's the 4-pack collection. Supposedly there's a 5th one in the making. Don't know if they'll ever see the light of day. I think it's been like pre-production, like rumored for years. We have Liar Liar, Life, Little Man, hilarious. Lock Up with Stallone. Logan, absolutely great movie with Hugh Jackman as Wolverine again. The Longest Ride. The Longest Yard. This is the remake with Adam Sandler. We have the Lord of the Rings 3 film collection. I think that's just a theatrical version. Watched all of those in theaters with my grandma many, many years ago. Always have a special place in my heart for sure. The Lost Boys, Lottery Ticket, Love Happens, Ma, Mad Max Fury Road. Of course, that's going to be the newest version of that. Medea Goes to Jail, Medea's Big Happy Family, Medea's Family Reunion, Major Pain, and then Malignant. This got a lot of bad reviews, but man, oh man, I love this in theaters. I absolutely had a blast, and the twist in this movie absolutely threw me off, and I was like, whoa, I did not expect that to happen. It's got like that, I would say a lot of people say it was like an 80s campy type of horror movie. It's just got an old school vibe to it. It's a little corny at sometimes, but it's what it's supposed to be. You know, it's supposed to do that. It's not trying to hide who it is. It's upfront about it. And I think this is an absolute great horror story. Definitely threw me off with that twist. So if you guys have not seen this, definitely pick it up or definitely stream it, whichever is easiest for you. So we're going to get that tucked back in there. Next up, we have The Man from U.N.C.L.E., Man of Steel. And we have a double pack, Man on Fire and Out of Time with Denzel Washington. The Marine with John Cena. The Martian. The Mask of Zorro, which I ended up actually picking that up at Big Lots for $3, and it's a 4K. I was absolutely ecstatic, and I'm sure the other people in the other aisles were like, what? Because I was on the phone with my wife, and I was like, oh my gosh. So I was pretty excited at that one. We have Master and Commander. We have the Matrix triple pack. I do not have the Matrix Resurrections, the latest one. I do need to add that one as well. We have Max Payne, The Medallion, The Meg, Megan Levy, Men in Black Trilogy, and then we have Men in Black International, the 4K. We have Midway, A Million Ways to Die in the West, Mirrors, Misery, Mission Impossible as the 5 film collection, and then Fallout number 6. I'll definitely be adding the 7th one whenever that comes out on Blu-ray for sure. Moneyball, Monster House, Monsters Inc., Monty Python and the Holy Grail. And then we have Moonfall pulled out. This got a lot of bad reviews too. Yeah, as far as Moonfall is concerned, I think this is really underrated just because it's one of those disaster movies where the moon is falling out of orbit, is crashing into the earth, is creating all these problems on Earth. And the moon ends up being something completely different. I'm not going to ruin it, ruin the surprise of what this movie is completely about if you've not seen it before. But I think this is a great movie, not just because of the story, I thought it was different, but also because it has some amazing bass. So if you're a bass head and you're all into home theater like that, you're probably going to really like this movie because I remember watching it in theaters and I was like, man, this movie would sound great in my home theater. So I easily picked this up really quickly whenever it came out. And I would definitely suggest you guys do too. If you have not seen it before, I think you will like it. If you like any kind of disaster movies, I don't think you'll be disappointed. If you're not into those kind of movies, you may not like this. Or if you're just looking for something, to really test out your home theater, this will definitely do it for you too. So we get that plug back in there. Next up, we have Mr. Brooks, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Mrs. Doubtfire, Mud, The Mule, The Mummy. This is the one with Tom Cruise. The Mummy Trilogy, the one with Brendan Fraser. We have My Bloody Valentine, that's the original. My Soul to Take. Then moving back on up, we have Napoleon Dynamite, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, National Security, and then the National Treasure movies. Absolutely some of my favorite. I love just adventure movies, finding treasures from long ago, even if they're, obviously they're just fiction, but I think it's just a great story. And it's always so much fun just to kind of get lost into the lore of, what if there really is all this hidden stuff out there that we haven't found before? Him stealing the Declaration of Independence, that's obviously not going to happen that easily like it does in the movie, but I think it's just really cool. It just kind of makes you think of, what could be out there that we don't know about. Then we have National Treasure 2, Natural Born Killers, Never Ending Story 1 and 2. We have The New Kids, New Year's Eve, Next Friday, Night at the Museum 3 movie collection, A Night at the Roxbury, Night School, A Nightmare on Elm Street. This is the remake from 2000, it was like 13 or 14. A Nightmare on Elm Street. This is the whole collection, the originals with Robert Englund. Ninja Assassin, No Escape, No Good Deed, Nobody, Nonstop, Norbit, Now You See Me 1 and 2, number 23, The Nutty Professor double pack, the ones with Eddie Murphy, The Nun, Oblivion, Oculus, On the Basis of Sex, The One, Orphan 1 and 2, so it's got Orphan, and then it also has the prequel First Kill. That one was definitely interesting. We have The Other Guys, The Outsiders, Over the Hedge, Pacific Rim, Paranormal Activity, the marked ones, Passion of the Christ, The Patriot, Patriots Day, Paul Blart Mall Cop 1 and 2, those are absolutely hilarious, those are some good ones, Pearl Harbor, Peppermint, Pet Sematary, this is the remake that just came out a couple years ago. We have Peter Rabbit, Phantasm, The Phantom, and then I have all of the Pirates of the Caribbean, the entire collection here. We have Pitch Perfect 1, 2, and 3. I absolutely love those movies. I heard some people hate on them. I'm like, hey, I don't know what you're hating on. Those are some good ones. We have Pixels with Adam Sandler. That is an underrated movie, I think, as well. It's a great one, especially if you love video games. We have the Polar Express, Poltergeist. This is the original, not the remake. The remake was terrible. Poltergeist 2 and 3 double pack. We have Poseidon, Precious, the 2018 Predator, which is and then we have the Predator 3 film collection on 4K. Again, this is one of those movies with Arnold, so it definitely made it onto the list, at least the original. The first Predator is absolutely my favorite. I do like Predator 2 and Predators, and then Prey will be coming out on disc, I believe, October 3rd. Definitely be picking that up as well. I can't say enough about Predator. I've probably seen that at least 50 plus times. It used to be one of those movies I'd watch on VHS every single weekend, and I can never get tired of it. It's just so cool. I think it's just one of the best action movies, one of the best stories, one of the best original characters by far. I can't say enough about that movie, and I will never get tired of that one. If someone's like, hey, you want to watch Predator? I'm never going to say no. Just one of those for sure. Next up, we have Premonition, Pride and Prejudice Zombies, Prince of Darkness, The Prodigy, Project Almanac, Prometheus, which is a really interesting, it's a prequel to the Alien series. I do love that one. Public Enemies, and then the original, well, this is not the original Punisher. I think the other one had Dolph Lundgren. But this is the Punisher with Thomas Jane, John Travolta. It didn't have enough, I would say, blood and violence going on with this one compared to the second one that came out with, I forgot the other actor's name. But this is one of those movies that I can never get tired of as well. I watched it whenever I was a kid, and so it always just holds a special place in my heart. And the Punisher is one of my favorite MCU characters as well, so I'm really hoping he gets integrated into the new MCU universe at some point for sure. So the original Punisher, and then the Punisher Warzone. Then we have the very first Purge. And moving up, we have the Purge Anarchy, the Purge Election Year. The only one I'm missing out of all the Purges is the Purge, the Forever Purge, I think is the latest one. I haven't seen that one yet. We have Puss in Boots, Quarantine, A Quiet Place 1 and 2, R.I.P.D., and then we have Rambo, the complete collector set. This has the first, four movies in this one. Rambo is another one of those iconic series that I feel like you just never get tired of, especially if you love action movies. Definitely a great set right here. And anything usually with Sylvester Stallone, he's also one of my favorite actors. He's probably my second favorite next to Arnold Schwarzenegger, just because he was a part of that 80s and 90s all action movies. Those are just some of my favorite movies of all time, is just anywhere in that time period. So anything with Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, definitely going to make it in the list here as far as the ones that I'll never get tired of. And then we also have the latest Rambo, Last Blood. And then we have Rampage, Ready Player One, The Reaping, Red Dragon, Red Eye, which I did a unboxing for a couple months ago, Red Heat, Remember the Titans, and then we have the double pack of the Replacement Killers and Truth or Consequences in New Mexico. And moving on, we have all of the Resident Evil movies. Those got a lot of slack too, but I think those are pretty good. And they're not really anything close to the video games by far, but I think it's definitely a great series too, just if you like zombies and you love action. So there you go. The Revenant, that was actually the very first 4K I ever picked up when I just had an Xbox Series X, popped it in there, and I was like, whoa, these 4Ks are really crispy. I like the way these look. Let me get some more of these. So I'll always remember that one for sure. Richard Jewell, and we have the Riddick collection with Pitch Black and the Chronicles of Riddick, and then we have the latest Riddick there, Right Along, and then The Ring will always be something that I'll always love as well, just because that was one of the first, I want to say it was one of the first horror movies I really watched in full, I think, that I can actually remember. That scared the crap out of me. I had so many bad dreams from that movie. I was absolutely scared of my TV at night. Like I thought I was going to click on and, somewhere it was going to come out the well and out of the TV. So that one definitely stuck with me. I will never get tired of this one as well. This is easily one of my favorite horror movies. And just the story of that is just, creepy in general. And, it's just one of those movies I think that needs to be on 4K. For some reason, it's just one of those ones that didn't. And I think it got good reviews and it made good money at the box office. So I think it's probably just, something going on with the studios. But that's definitely a good one. It needs to be on 4K. I'd definitely pick it up for sure. Next up, we have The Ring 2, Rings, which is the latest one. The Road to El Dorado, Robin Hood. That's the one with Russell Crowe, this one. And then Robin Hood, this is the latest one with the same guy who plays the main assassin or the main Secret Service guy in Kingsman. And then we have the RoboCop trilogy. This is the original. This is the remake RoboCop, Robots, and then the Rocky collection. Again, like how I was talking about Rambo, this has got Sylvester Stallone once again. Rocky, can't say enough about it. I might have to say, man, it's just so hard to pick, but I might have to say this is probably my favorite collection of movies by far, just because it's just something about watching Rocky. It just makes you want to get up and exercise. It just makes you want to get up and just be motivated to go tackle whatever goal you have in life. That's how I feel every time I watch these movies. It never gets old. I just love the story of an underdog, just coming out on top or just becoming the people's champion like it does in the first one. Just the story and the acting. Oh man, I can't say enough about these, and I'm hoping they have all these on 4K. I will definitely buy that. I know there's a 4K collection out there, I think, that has the first 3 or 4. I was disappointed because it didn't have number 5, which I know a lot of people don't like. It also didn't have Rocky Balboa. I think that's easily one of the best ones as well. And just because of the story and how he, just makes a comeback after, being old and being retired for so long. So I think that definitely needs a 4K collection of all of them. Maybe even throw the Creed collection there with it. I don't know. They need to do something with it and add those in there, just because this is an absolutely great set, but I want it all in 4K and I want it all in one thing, and not where I'm having to buy individual or 2 different sets. So I'll be on the lookout for that too. Next up, let's see. We have a Rogue One Star Wars story, Run All Night, The Rundown, The Running Man, also with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Running Scared, The Rush Hour Trilogy, Sabotage, Safe House, Salt, San Andreas, Sandlot, Santa Claus Trilogy, Saving Private Ryan, and then the Saw the Complete Collection. Man, as I was talking, I know I mentioned it whenever I had Jigsaw pulled up right there, but this is also one of my favorites as far as a movie collection, just because the story of these is also really good, and I think in a twisted way, it does make you just want to appreciate life. And it's like, man, these people are having to go through some things, and it's making them rethink about life, which I know is an objective way of thinking of it. But I just think the story of these and just the traps, they're so original, they're so fresh, they're different. I know some of them got really caught up in the gore, and the story kind of went off the rails, I think a little bit, after Saw 4. But I think it's, it's still been going strong. There's a Saw X coming out. I'll be watching that first day it comes out and doing a movie review, so I'll definitely tag it in this video once that does go live. So if you guys are watching this, you can catch that review and check it out for yourself. But like I said, this is one of my favorite collections as well, and never get tired of these movies. And whenever it becomes Halloween time, I got to pull these back out again. It's almost there, so I'm going to have to be rewatching them again. Okay, next up, we have Scarface, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, Schindler's List, School of Rock, Scooby-Doo 1 and 2, Scooby-Doo WrestleMania, Monsters original movie, Scorpion King. I have all of the Screams here, which I did an unboxing on Scream 5 and 6. That's absolutely great movies. We have Scrooged, Second Act, See No Evil with Kane from WWE, Selfless with Ryan Reynolds, Seventh Son, The Shack, and then we have The Shadow, Shaft. This is the first one, not the second one. They're both named Shaft, which makes it kind of difficult to remember. And then we have Shark Tale, Shang-Chi, Shaun of the Dead, Shazam, She's Out of My League. This movie is just so stupid. It just cracks me up. It's about a guy who's working TSA security, if I remember correctly, and he's just like a super nerd where he can't pull any girls. Then all of a sudden, this supermodel comes through and ends up falling for him. It's just the dumbest story, but it just makes you laugh because this is like, what in the world? It's just something else. I don't know what else really to say about it besides it's just super funny. So if you guys have never watched it, definitely check that one out. It's so stupid but so funny at the same time. Where were we? Shazam. I'm not sure if I already said that one. Short Circuit 1 and 2, the double feature. Shrek, the 4 movie collection. Shudder. Silent Hill Revelations. A Simple Favor. Sinister, which that's actually the last movie that really creeped me out as far as like a newer movie. That movie was creepy as heck. Not the second one, that's why it's not in here. But that first Sinister, that was something else. We have The Sitter, Skeleton Key, which that's also a great story and also a good mystery thriller / horror movie. We have Skyscraper with The Rock, Small Soldiers, Snitch, Space Jam, A New Legacy with The GOAT. And then we have one last shelf, so we'll go over to that one. Okay, so we are now on the last shelf. This is going to be S all the way to the Z's. And we have Spider-Man, the trilogy. It's going to be the first one, actually, that I pull out here. These always hold a special place in my heart just because I think Tobey Maguire is easily the best Spider-Man. And Tom Holland does a great job. He's probably my second favorite than Andrew Garfield. But these just always bring back a good set of memories just because I watched these as a kid on DVD and VHS. And, you know, Tobey Maguire coming back and that last Spider-Man was just icing on the cake. And I was like, man, they need to make a Spider-Man 4. And now there's, you know, rumors of that coming out. So it's just a great set. And I'll always enjoy these. I always love watching Spider-Man. He's definitely one of my favorite MCU characters as well. And so next up, we have Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man Far From Home, Spider-Man No Way Home on 4K. And then we have Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I've not seen the other Spider-Verse movie. I forgot what it's called. I haven't checked that one out yet, so I'll have to do that. Spiral from the Book of Saw. Of course, had to pick that one up with the Saw collection. Have Split, A Star Is Born, and then the last Star Trek movies. These are the newest ones. I have those. Have the complete Star Wars, the complete saga. And then also have the last Star Wars, the main entries that come out as well. Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, The Rise of Skywalker, Stealth and Vertical Limit. And then I have Step Brothers, The Stepfather, Straight Outta Compton, and then The Strangers. Had that one pulled out too, just because I think that's one of those kind of creepy, you know, inspired by true events movies that, you know, could really happen to anybody. You know, it's just, it's something about a couple that goes out to this cabin. They're just kind of like in a private getaway. And then all of a sudden, this lady in a mask rings the doorbell and says, "Is Tamara home?" And they're like, "No, she's not here." And then it ends up becoming these quote unquote strangers, the people in the mask that are trying to rob them and kill them. So it's definitely an interesting movie, very creepy because, like I said, it's inspired by probably a true story and could really happen to anybody. So it's definitely pretty creepy for sure. Next up, we have The Strangers Pray at Night. That's the second one. Not as good, but still decent. have Straw Dogs, Suicide Squad. This is not the newest version. This is the first version of Suicide Squad. I haven't seen the other one, actually. We have Super Troopers, Surf's Up, Taken, the 3-movie collection, The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3, Talladega Nights, Tears of the Sun, Ted 1 and 2. Those are hilarious movies. Ted 2 went a little overboard, I think, with all the cursing and just the raunchiness, but it's still pretty funny, though. It's fun to watch it once in a while. Then next up, we have the Terminators. So we have the first Terminator, and then over here is Terminator 2. So this is by far my favorite movie of all time. Have it on basically every single physical media format besides 2. So I have it on VHS, PSP, UMD video, Laserdisc, Blu-ray, DVD, Philips CDI, that's HD DVD, 4K, and then I'm just missing the VHS and the 8mm, which the VHS is like super rare, super expensive, so it's on the back burner for now. And then the 8mm tape is like another, $80 to $100. So I'll definitely add those. Can do complete the collection, but that's easily my favorite movie of all time. And then I have the rest of the Terminators: Terminator 3, Terminator Dark Fate, Terminator Genesis, and then Terminator Salvation. We have the Texas Chainsaw. That's the 3D version with Trey songs in there. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that is the original. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, that's the sequel to the original. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1, and then the Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning. Those are the early 2000 ones. Those are pretty good. That's My Boy with Adam Sandler is one of my favorite comedies, I think, of all time. That's so funny. It's so stupid. And I know a lot of people absolutely hate that movie, but I think it's just so funny. So it'll always stay in the collection. It's just so funny to me. They Live, The Thing, that's the original. The Thing, this is the remake. Think Like a Man, the Thor collection. So we got Thor, Thor the Dark World, Thor Ragnarok, and then Thor Love and Thunder. Thunderstruck, Titanic, Tommy Boy, the Tomorrowland, Top Gun, and then Top Gun Maverick. And Top Gun Maverick, iconic movie as well. Easily dominated the box office whenever he was out, and just did a recent giveaway for that movie, and it's definitely one of my favorites as far as Tom Cruise goes. And it's just one of those movies you just sit back, pop your popcorn. You don't want to take your eyes off the movie because the story is just that good. So if you have not seen it, you're one of those few people who have not seen it out there. Make sure you pick it up because it's definitely a must-see. Next up, we have Total Recall. This is the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And the Total Recall, the remake. Tower Heist, The Town, Toy Story 1 through 3, then number 4 on 4K and Steelbook. We have The Toy, Transformers 1 through 4, and then Transformers number 5, the last night. So we'll be getting, was it Rise of the Beast? So I'll have that one to the collection as well. Transporters 1 through 3, the very first Tremors. We have Turbo, Twins with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. That's a good one. Twister, Two for the Money, U.S. Marshals, U-571, The Unborn, which this is another one of those horror movies I just think is very interesting. Just the story of a woman who, I think it's something about some kind of demonic baby that wants to be born and basically gets like impregnated within her, something like that. It's something crazy, something different, and it just kind of makes you think. And I know a lot of people didn't like this one because it got bad reviews, but I remember watching it in theaters and I was like, okay, this is different. It's not something that you see in your typical horror movies, not some kind of slasher or something like that. So that's what I appreciate about a lot of these different horror movies that I've shown you guys, is just because the story is very unique and different, and it's always fun to break the mold and just not stay with the same type that everyone else is making these days. So this definitely made on the list too. Next up, we have Unbreakable. And then moving on down here, we have Uncut Gems, Undercover Brother, Underworld, the complete set. So it's got Underworld, Underworld Evolutions, Underworld Rise of Lycans, Underworld Awakening, Underworld Blood Wars. We have Unhinged, The Uninvited, United 93, Universal Soldier, Unknown, Untraceable, The Upside, Van Helsing, Venom, VFW, Village of the Damned, The Visit, Walk the Line, Wanted, War of the Planet of the Apes, War of the Worlds, that's the one with Tom Cruise, not the original. We have War Room, The Warriors, The Watch, and then Waterboy is another one of my favorite comedies of all time as well. Just the story of that one is just so silly and so stupid that he's just the guy who absolutely loves water. Yeah, that he gets to try out for the football team and just absolutely kills it. And I just think it's so funny. Just the way he talks is so silly, It's so silly and so stupid, just some of the dialogue in the movie. But it's just one of those movies you'll always remember. And if you love football, you're definitely going to love this one if you've not seen it. And then next up, we have Dwayne's World 1 and 2. We Were Soldiers, Wedding Ringer with Kevin Hart. That's one of my favorite comedies. I remember watching that in theaters like 4 times. We have The Wedding Singer, We're the Millers, White Men Can't Jump, Why Him, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and then we have The Wizard of Oz on 4K. And this is just one of those movies that's iconic. I think it's been voted as like one of the best, as like the top 100 movies of like all time, something like that. And I remember watching this with my grandparents because they had a lot of these classic movies just like this in their collection. And I would just, sit back and watch a lot of these old ones. And I was like, man, these are some good stories, that people, overlook these days just because maybe it doesn't have the greatest effects or maybe, it just isn't a color or something like that. And I know they've colorized this, of course. But there's a lot of great movies out there that, are, older than, 50, 60 years. And a lot of people are missing out. And this is one of those movies that I think you should have in your collection. If you are a big movie buff, I think it's just one of those must-haves for sure. Next up, we have Wolf Creek, The Wolfman, and The Wolverine. And then we have The Woman in Black, Wonder Woman 1984, Won't Back Down, World War Z, and Wrath of the Titans. And then I have The First Wrong Turn. I used to have all the other wrong turns, but I was like, man, these movies are just trash compared to this one. This is a good story. It's about a story of... it was like 3 or 4 or 5 friends who get lost and they take the wrong turn and they end up running into these cannibals. And it's a pretty good story, It's one of those horror kind of slasher movies, and it's definitely different. If you get one of those collections that has all of them, you probably won't like those as much unless you really like those B-rated, cheesy horror movies, then that'll probably be for you. But I just ended up signing the collection I had and just kept the first one just because I was like, man, these other ones are just so bad. And I knew I wouldn't watch them again, so that's why I just went with that one. All right, guys, and then last but not least, we have the X-Men collection, and then X-Men Origins Wolverine. And I know this one got a lot of slack because it's not anything, like it should be in the comics. It's missing a lot of different things. I know. But Hugh Jackman being Wolverine, definitely one of my favorite characters as far as an on-screen character goes. And just the story of, maybe it's not completely perfect like it should be, as far as like the comic stance goes, but it's just one of those movies that I absolutely love. I love Wolverine. So I just love seeing his backstory and how long he's had these powers, how he got started. Like, I know how that goes, and it's missing a lot of things, but I thought this was an absolutely great movie, and I had a fun time with it. And then we have Triple X with Vin Diesel, Triple X Return of Xander Cage, Yumi and Dupree, You're Next, Zodiac, Zombieland 1 and 2, Zookeeper, and then I have Zoolander 2, but not Zoolander 1. I don't really know why. I think it's because I didn't really like the first one that much. I honestly don't remember. It's been a long time since I watched that one. But that is everything through A through Z. But I actually have some more movies on this side that I've actually just not put up just yet. And so I got Super 8, I have The Flash that just came out, Journey to the Center of the Earth, Winnie the Pooh, Night and Day, Boss Baby 1 and 2, I have the 9-film set of all of the Supermans and the Batmans, Mortal Engines 4K, Transcendence, I freaking say 3D. I remember watching this in theaters with my dad, and I just completely forgot about it, but I remember how much I loved it, and I ended up seeing this on Whatnot, and someone had it for like $3, and I was like, dude, Sign me up. I'll take it. I hadn't seen it in so long. I rewatched it again. Absolutely great movie. And then these are some movies that I have not actually seen before. And I just recently bought these. So I have House on the End of the Street with Jennifer Lawrence. Never seen it. 13 Hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi. The Raven, Safe Haven. Then a 4-film collection of Leonardo DiCaprio movies. I have seen Shutter Island. I've never seen The Aviator, Blood Diamond, or Body of Lies. So I am looking forward to watching those. And with that being said, guys, that is now all of the movies I do have in my collection. That was over 1,000 movies, and it was a lot to go through. But if you did make it to the end of this video, I do greatly appreciate it. I will have a link down in the description of the app that I use to keep track of all my movie collection. It's called Libib. And I'll have a link where you can click it, and it will actually show my entire collection. I do update those constantly with all the new movies I get. Obviously I delete some if I do sell them. So we'll keep all of those shown on there. So that way, if you wanted to take a look at my collection, you're definitely welcome to. It's just a public link. You can't mess anything up or anything like that. So you're welcome to take a look. But with that being said, guys, that is the complete video. I hope you guys did enjoy it. Let me know down in the comments, what is your favorite movie that I have in my collection? And then let me know what's your favorite movie just in general. Maybe I'm missing out on some movies, and drop some suggestions in the comments. I'm always trying to find some new movies. Obviously, I have these ones here that I've never seen. And, I'm just always trying to find something new. There's so many more movies out there that I do not have. And there's a lot of movies I still want that I have seen that I don't have yet. So, it's just a never-ending battle. There's so many movies out there that, it's hard to keep a collection of all of them and have the funds to do it. So it's definitely a lot of fun. But like I said, guys, I appreciate you, especially if you made it all the way to the end of this video. This is a long one, I know. But let me know down in the comments what movies I might be missing out on, what's your favorite to have in my collection. Make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you did enjoy this video and do like physical media content just like this. And with that being said, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.